Hi, and welcome to another exciting episode of Bad Celebrity Poetry / Lyrics. Today, I don't know if you can tell in the background, it's the music to Spider-Man, because it's a clue as to what I'm going to talk about today. Now, today I go back to my roots. When I started this webcast, I talked only about poetry, celebrity poetry, but then frankly, I ran out of material. So I started talking about pop song lyrics. But now, I go back to my roots. Today, I found two poets who are so awful, so cataclysmically bad, that I really had to talk about them. So today, their names are known to TV and movie audiences the world over. They are James Franco and Charlie Sheen. So let's begin to read their poetry. Okay, the first poem I will go into reading is a poem by James Franco. James Franco, doctoral thesis writer, actor, and now poet. We'll see. Let's read the poem. Okay, this is a poem that James Franco wrote to honor the inauguration of Barack Obama. So let's go into it. Met Obama once in D.C., the Correspondents' Dinner. Was the guest of Vanity Fair. Then we waited in a private room with the likes of Tom Cruise and Katie Holmes and Claire Danes. Wow. Drop names much, Franco? I mean, what is this? This is poetry here? When Obama entered, the crowd converged. The crowd converged. It's very dramatic. Finally, I got to shake his hand. He knew me from Spider-Man. I asked him for advice. What? He knew me from Spider-Man. I asked him for advice. This has to be one of the most awkward conversations I've ever heard about. How do you think that conversation went when he met Barack Obama? It went something like this. Oh, hey James, I saw you in Spider-Man. Good job there. Really enjoyed it. Oh, hey, thanks for watching, Mr. President. How about some advice? Oh, well, sure, James, sure. I love to give advice to privileged actors. Is that how that conversation went? I don't know. Reading on, though. He says, I was scheduled to give the commencement speech at UCLA, and there were some undergraduate knockers against me. Let me see if I understand this. Franco was tapped to give this commencement speech. Okay, and there were some undergraduate knockers against him. Does this mean he was like groupies, like women were putting their knockers against Franco? I'm not really clear on what he means. If so, why would he need the advice of Barack Obama about that? Hey, Barack, I'm getting these girls, shoving their boobs in my face. I'm hetero and all, but Jesus Christ, they're in my face. I mean, what do I do about it? I don't know, maybe he meant people knocking him. James Franco, like, we're skeptical of his commencement speech. That seems more likely, I guess. And we're using the term knockers to the knocking him. So, anyhow, let's read on with the poem. So I wondered how he dealt with his detractors. He smiled and he said, humor. Well, he's damn right. Odd for someone, if they're given a few precious moments with the President of the United States to ask about public speaking. You think if James Franco got alone with the president, he would want to talk about, I don't know, global warming or Middle East peace. But no. Yeah, give me your advice on how I can publicly speak better. Yeah, that makes sense, Franco. Good job there. Let's read on. In this stanza, he says, if I were to act in the film about Obama, all I would need to get down, aside from the outer stuff, and I know that that's important, is his essential kindness. I'd let the writer put in all the political crap. Wow. Surprise again. Franco somehow manages to segue back to his own film career in this poem, and then he's talking about if someone offered to have him play Barack Obama. Now, nothing against Franco's acting, although he's, I believe, overrated, but he does realize that Obama is black, doesn't he? I mean, that's a historical a significant historical fact, our first black president. Why would we trivialize that by hiring a white actor to play him? It doesn't make any sense, does it? No, I mean, it's just ridiculous that he even thinks that's a possibility. But anyhow, enough of him. Let's switch gears and read some excerpts now from the profound political mind, profound poetical mind, rather, of Charlie Sheen. So let's go into Charlie Sheen. Now, Charlie Sheen, you wouldn't imagine would be capable of the profound thought necessary to write poetry, the introspection, the self-examination. You'd think he would be too interested in getting drunk and getting his joint worked on to really want to write any poetry. But who knows? Maybe he'll surprise us. Let's go see. Okay. Now, a few years back, Charlie Sheen wrote a volume of poetry called A Piece of My Mind. Sadly, this book is no longer in print. Forget the loss of the J.D. Salinger lost stories. I mean, this is a real blow to the literary world. The fact that Charlie Sheen's book is no longer available to us. You know, it's like a gut punch to the whole literary world that we can't get at this. Okay? So, anyhow, let's read. There are a few small excerpts of Sheen's poetry on the internet that I was able to find. So, I will now read those to you. Okay? The first poem, and this is a real gem here, this is called Immediately. He spells it strangely, like I, and then media, and then Tely. T-E-L-Y, as if you care. But it seems by the text of this poem that this is Charlie Sheen's attack against the paparazzi. So let's read it. It goes like something like this. A blinding flash, the shutter click. These locusts carve you lean. So here, I guess Sheen is comparing the paparazzi to locusts, and he's saying that they carve you lean. He somehow believes that these locusts carry cutlery, though, and they carve you lean. Obviously he's never really had any personal exposure with locusts, because he would know that they're not carrying stakeware with them. They're not doing that, okay? But anyhow, let's go on with the poem. While shaking your hand with a knife in your back, they'll grin in the tone of deceit. Now, what does the grinning in the tone of deceit mean? Is that like, I mean, what would that sound like? Grinning in the tone of deceit. Is there a tone of deceit? And grinning. Usually grinning is a non-auditory event, isn't it? It doesn't have a sound. Okay. They'll follow your path so far off the track while stroking their flaccid meat. So here, Sheen is claiming that while the paparazzi are hounding him, that they're also simultaneously masturbating, but that their meat being flaccid, they're unable to truly complete the transaction. So, what I guess Sheen is saying is that they're impotent masturbators. So I wonder if Sheen has a positive or negative impression of paparazzi by calling them impotent masturbators. Anyhow, so there you have it. The poetry of James Franco and Charlie Sheen. Two names that should be mentioned in the same breath as Walt Whitman, Henry Wordsworth Longfellow, Etna St. Vincent Millay, the guy who wrote that poem, Once There Was a Man from Nantucket. He should be mentioned in the breath of those giants of the literary world. Sheen and Franco, two geniuses at the height of their craft. I stand and I quake on the foothills of their poetic magnificence. I've been Mark Levitt for this week's edition of Bad Celebrity Lyrics / Poetry. Anyway, I'll see you later and enjoy the rest of your lives.